It is a scene that can rival anything in motorsports, and it's where dirt bike racers and dirt bike racing fans center their summer. It can be summed up in one word.
One-third of the way through the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross season, and 4 riders are squaring off for the title.
What a way to start the season. A 1-1 sweep for Chase Sexton. No! Sexton has gone down. He's tipped over. And Roxon has won in Thunder Valley. There it is. Jason Anderson finally has an overall win. Eli Tomac was third 1 lap ago. Now he's in the lead.
The championship races into its annual July 4th weekend at Red Bud. Title contenders Sexton, Roxon, Anderson and Tomac looking for momentum.
And the 32nd board has been raised.
Get ready for a red, white and blue celebration of 50 years of motocross in America. 450 Moto 2 is next.
It is a 4th of July weekend celebration for an entire sport. Round 5 of the 2022 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, sanctioned by MRPRO Racing. It's the KTM Red Bud National. Hello everyone, Jason Wygant here, joined by the greatest of all time, 15-time AMA National Champion Ricky Carmichael. We'll talk about what makes this race so important for this sport in just a moment. But first we have to talk about the competition in the sport this year. Unreal what we've seen, RC.
Oh, I'm going to tell you what, the 450 class has been unbelievable. You think of Chase Sexton. I mean, the guy is absolutely crushing it. He's been very consistent. Can he keep it up? Then Eli Tomac catching fire at the right time. You still got Ken Roxon, Jason Anderson, and even Ryan Dungey. He is on a mission. So it's a lot to look forward to. It's going to be a really exciting race here at Red Bud.
4 rounds this year and 4 different winners. Now let's talk about what makes Red Bud loved by the riders and the fans, this racetrack.
Oh, absolutely. This racetrack is unbelievable. Multi-groove, the Richies, the promoters of this track, they do a fantastic job, and it's LaRocco's Leap, the most popular jump in all of American motocross. It's so much fun. It's the best jump in the business. I can't wait to watch these guys sky it out.
And one of the riders the fans really want to see hit that jump is Ryan Dungey. Multi-time champion in the series, has been retired for 5 years, but he's back in competition and running up front this year. We'll talk to him when we return.
It's oil. Keep that engine alive. General Tire. For whatever you do, General Tire delivers. And by Honda, celebrating 50 years of off-road dominance.
GoPro giving you a view of what it's like to race and ride on these rough motocross tracks. It's Justin Barsha's Red Bull Troy Lee Designs gas machine from earlier today. As we get ready for our final 450 race of the day, that was your GoPro course preview. We're talking about the building story with Ryan Dungey, 4-time champion of this series, coming back into action this year. He's not the only great to retire and then come back and reach a very high level. Of course, Michael Jordan retired in the middle of a 6th championship run with the Chicago Bulls, retired and came back again with the Washington Wizards. Serious health problems took Mario Lemieux away from the NHL. He would return with his favorite Pittsburgh Penguins. George Foreman, on top of the boxing world, retired, came back to reclaim the heavyweight titles in the late 1980s. And Niki Lauda burned up in a F1 crash, then came back to racing and won a championship. Ryan Dungey trying to write a similar story here. 5 years away from racing, returning this season. Will Christian talked to him earlier today.
Thank you, guys. And Ryan, it's so fun to see you back here in the paddock, to see you back out on track racing after 5 years away. We're only 4 rounds into the 2022 season already. We see you leading laps. We see you battling for Moto and overall podiums. What's your assessment of the season so far?
You know, I'm happy with where we're at. We start off the season good, better than I expected. The last few rounds we're getting there, especially just last weekend in High Point. That was a huge step in the right direction for us. And I just got to be patient. You know, I just got to keep building. Get back to that intensity, get back to that level these guys are at. I believe it. I know we can. And, you know, we're coming back east now. We're at Red Bud, a really fun track. It's good. It's loamy. Dirt's good. Fans are crazy. So hopefully we can put in a good couple rides and see you guys up there on the podium.
That'd be great to see you back out there. I know the fans would love it. Thank you, Ryan.
Last won this title back in 2015 did the 32-year-old Ryan Dungey. Rider they're gunning for right now. Winner earlier today, the number 3 of Eli Tomac. Stay with us. We are back. It is the KTM Red Bud National, the centerpiece of Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. We've completed one moto so far today. Let's give you the highlights of that before we go racing in our second moto. That is motocross tradition, with the stars out there twice in a day. Eli Tomac on the number 3 has been surging as of late. 3-time series champ grabs your first moto hole shot.
Massive hole shot. But then Jason Anderson, number 21 on that Monster Energy Kawasaki, he goes down and lose some valuable points in the championship.
Chase Sexton, a big charge late. Your series leader gets around Joey Savacci to take second in the moto, but he was too far back to do anything about Tomac until Eli almost goes down.
Yeah, definitely close call by Eli Tomac. He's going to be able to hang on to that bike, though, and bring it onto the finish line.
So the first moto goes to Tomac. The results from this race will add them to the results of the upcoming moto to determine the overall winner for the weekend. Joey Savacci, first ever podium in the 450 division, third. That was impressive.
Fantastic ride by Joey Savacci. Putting in some fast laps at the beginning, building a gap between him and the guys behind him, and rides it into third place.
All right, you're the GOAT, Ricky Carmichael, so tell us what to do at Red Bud. It's our KTM keys to the moto.
There you go. Take advantage of multiple line selection. There are a lot of lines, insides, outsides. You don't have to follow the guy in front of you. Be creative and take advantage of it. And then you got to have a good entry into the sand rollers. There's an inside line and an outside line. I think if you can go to the outside line, keep up that momentum, that will help you at the end of the rollers because you'll have more speed and more momentum.
So here it is, folks. You're going to race for 30 minutes and 2 laps. No pit stops, no timeouts. There isn't much strategy to it. As soon as that gate drops, it's rider against rider. And even though fatigue is a huge factor on a rough racetrack and such a physically demanding sport like this, you're going to see these riders sprint to the end. And we have had fantastic racing throughout the 2022 season. We expect it to happen again. Once that Fly Racing 30-second card goes sideways, you'll hear the revs come up. The mechanics move away. 40 riders in a duel to win what is arguably the most prestigious race of this championship at Red Bud. Eli Tomac won the first moto, made up some ground in the series standings on young Chase Sexton, who's fighting for his first national motocross title. A rematch looms. Here's Moto 2. Tomac shoots out of the center of the gate just like he did in Moto 1. No, Justin Barsha leans in on him and is able to take the lead away.
Yeah, Tomac fades out just a little more than probably what he wanted to, and Justin Barsha right on the inside, moves up the track, and now he's in the lead.
And Barsha, one of the most aggressive riders. He is not easy to pass. Ken Roczen is there in third. In red on the 94, almost made the move on Tomac. Couldn't quite get it done. Barsha still in the lead. Tomac second, and a good start for Ryan Dungey as well in orange. Here come the 2 KTM or Kawasaki riders. That would be there's action all over this track. Roczen made the move on Tomac.
Yeah, Ken Roczen making some key passes early here. These guys fight so hard for position. They want to get out front just as quick as possible early in the race.
Tomac and Roczen duking it out behind Barsha. Tomac's going to get Roczen back on the outside.
That was a key pass on the outside, but look, Kenny's going to try to go back up the inside.
And he gets it done, RC. So 2 times already, Roczen and Tomac have passed each other behind Barsha. Then it's Dungey. You saw the Kawasaki's. I was mentioning them. That's Anderson and Savacci. Tomac and Roczen continue to fight. And Roczen almost to the lead.
Yeah, these guys are going hard. They still have a lot of racing left. 30 minutes plus 2 laps. So the intensity level is at an all-time high right now. That just shows you how bad they want that top position to have a clear track in front of them.
Roczen, one of the best early in the race, but Barsha, one of the toughest to pass. One-on-one, a mistake by Barsha, and that's the opening Roczen needed. He's put the Honda into first.
Well, that was a great pass by Ken Roczen. We talked about it on the keys to the race, inside, outside. He went to the outside before those rollers, kept the momentum up, and made the pass.
And here is the massive Larocco's leap, and Roczen has it clean. No, he clipped the end. Well, we did not see that in the first moto. They were able to get over it without a mistake. Roczen bounced off the top.
Roczen is on the move right now. He was 4th in the first moto. So now he's going to have to win to have a shot at a possible overall, first place overall. He's going to need some help.
It is a furious pack. There are a lot of riders that can help Roczen. First Barsha and then Tomac. Dungey, Anderson, Sexton. That is a furious field right now early at Red Bud.
Well, you see Eli Tomac right there, number 3, that blue Monster Energy Yamaha. star racing machine. It is going to be key for Eli Tomac to get by Justin Barcia here early, not allow Ken Roczen to build up a big gap, because if he does that, it's going to be really hard to catch Kenny Roczen.
And also he has the early advantage over riders like Dungey and Sexton, but they are beginning to close from behind while he's working on Barcia. Barcia has had a big struggle today, was out of the top 10 in qualifying, which is not characteristic of him, but he has used the good start and his own aggression. Oh no, a little mistake there from Barcia, not enough for Tomac to take advantage. But this is what Barcia does. When it's race time, he goes to another level.
He does. He is a tough guy to get by as well. He'll race you hard. He's not going to give you any room to get by. Most guys at this level are very, very hard to pass.
A lot of riders, they'll be faster during the week, and then the pressure of racing actually slows them down. Barcia's the opposite. He lives for combat, loves battles like this, crosses up in front of Tomac. Tomac does his own crossover move. Is it enough to put the Yamaha into second? The corner will tell the story. Tomac has it.
Wow, Tomac comes firing out of that inside. Makes the pass on Justin Barcia. Great pass. And that pass initiated from the bottom of that left-hand corner. He got a good run up that hill, that sky jump tabletop. Set himself up perfectly. Now he's going to set his sights on Ken Roczen. It's going to be interesting these next couple laps to see if he's able to make up that time that Kenny has pulled away from.
So we have our Lucas Oil helicopter camera to show you what it's like around this racetrack at Redbud. Fans cheering everywhere they go around this massive facility. Barcia third. The next rider to bring the attack to him, Ryan Dungey. We told you his story. Multi-time series champion, retired in 2017. Retired on top with the Monster Energy Supercross title. Has returned to racing 5 years later, and he is right in the thick of it.
Well, and this is a much better ride for Ryan Dungey. He was sixth the first moto, just kind of lingered back there. Now he's back in the mix, a lot like what we saw from his ride, that second moto at Mount Morris at the last round. So, because he's looking over his shoulder right there, Jason Anderson on the number 21 Monster Energy Kawasaki all over him, trying to get by Ryan.
Anderson went from 38th to 7th in the first moto today. Let's send it back down to Will Christian. Looks like Anderson able to make the pass. No, that's actually Sexton closing in on Anderson as Anderson closes on Dungey. Unbelievable racing here, Will.
And Ryan Dungey right now, Jason, able to keep that intensity up, and that was very much part of the plan here for racing today. He told me that he had something in the tank at the end of the last moto there in High Point. He said that shouldn't be the case. He shouldn't be able to go another 10. So he said intensity early on in the race to stay up there with them is the plan.
And a welcome back to racing for Barcia to have to hook it back up, or welcome back for Dungey to hook it back up with Barcia. They have had some tremendous battles back in the previous edition of Dungey's racing career. And Dungey's looking for third here. Could he go for the podium spot? That's what makes Barcia so difficult to get by.
Oh, hold on to it, Dungey. Whoa, this guy is going for it right now. He almost jumps off the track, then gets sideways coming into the corner. That was a nice save and strength by Ryan Dungey.
And Anderson almost got passed by Sexton and is somehow able to get around Dungey instead. Now Dungey repasses Anderson. Anderson gonna tiptoe down the inside. Can he hold Dungey at bay? Dungey jumps right over him at Larocco's lead. Unbelievable racing between this four-pack. Anderson coming back on Dungey. He's on the inside for this next corner. Side by side, Dungey holds him off.
Oh, they're going for it. Dungey riding defensive here. He's anticipating these guys to make moves. That's some nice defensive riding that Ryan's doing. Trying his hardest to fend off these guys. Anderson is on the move. Ryan's doing a great job keeping him behind him.
Gotta respect a rider coming out of retirement, and he takes the chance using the big air to jump over Anderson's head and retake the spot. Anderson with another run. Dungey able to cut him off. And this is bailing Barcia out. Dungey was looking to get around the 51 for third. Now Dungey has to deal with Anderson and Sexton. Sexton is still right there. The green machine, that's the monster Kawasaki of Anderson. And your series points leader, Sexton, right behind him. We'll show you this, the fly racing battle box. Since we have the drone cam and the helicopter today, we can show you all the action. Front, Ken Roczen leads by 1.2 seconds over Eli Tomac. These four riders, you mentioned multiple grooves. Ricky Carmichael, there's
oh, there it is. There are tons of lines out here, and from a racer's standpoint, that's what they like. They like to be able to move around and not have to take the same line as the guy in front of you. just presents more options, and this Red Bud track right here does that. The best track pretty much in American motocross.
It has taken Dungey about a lap to get right back here to challenge Barcia for third. Almost went off the track in this sector. Now he's going to go all the way to the other side, and you know Barcia's going to move down there to block it. That's what he does. Dungey not able to make the pass. And now Dungey almost off again. And Anderson's going to take advantage. He does through those sand rollers.
You got to give it to Dungey. You can see the intensity that he's having. He's riding that edge. The bike's going sideways. He's taking a lot of chances, more than he's taken in the past. Oh, and Sexton gets by. He goes on the inside, but Dungey's able to jump the leap.
And Dungey and Sexton side by side. Great racing here live on NBC. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. Sexton takes the measure of Dungey. Stay with us. We'll keep the action going here on Peacock. So this is the critical juncture as Tomac has begun to close on Roczen.
He is, and you just got to wonder, Jason, if this is one.
Oh, Anderson just went down. That is
that's
Anderson who's down. He was right in that battle, so he had finally made the move on Dungey, and now he's at the back of that train. Tough break for the 21, who's had too many of those this year. Not huge crashes, but just enough to cost him some points and potential podium finishes. Back to this. Roczen versus Tomac.
Just got to wonder, Jason, like we were saying, is this one of those races where Eli's going to hang back, not push it too much, and wait for later in the race to mount a charge? He's so good at that. As from an overall standpoint, he's in a great position. He doesn't really need to chance anything.
That is true. He would still win the overall for the day if he finishes second, but championship pays per individual moto, so there's still some incentive for Tomac to try to make the pass. And there is a long way to go in this one. Barcia still hanging tough in third, and Chase Sexton, you know he's going to dig deep. Awesome to see NASCAR back on NBC and USA Network, going to the road course at Road America. And Chase Elliott won last week, and he's a road course specialist. He might be looking for 2 in a row. That'll be tomorrow. Definitely want to tune in for that one. We have great motocross racing here. Eli Tomac is closing the gap on your series leader, on your race leader, Ken Roczen. We are racing in the center of the country all over this weekend. We'll have NTT IndyCar at Mid-Ohio. We're here at Lucas Oil Pro Motocross in Buchanan, Michigan. NASCAR, I mentioned Road America, and IMSA Sports Car Racing at Mosport in Canada. So center of the country is the center of the motorsport action in America right now. And here is your pressure point. Ken Roczen leads. For how long? Eli Tomac has caught him.
Well, Eli's all over him. I go back to that battle they had in the second moto at Thunder Valley in Colorado. And man, Eli Tomac was doing everything he could to get by Ken Roczen, and Ken Roczen stayed strong. He never gave up, ended up fending off the challenge from Eli Tomac to win that overall.
And that was critical because Roczen's strength has always been the beginning of the race, and Tomac is so strong, so fit. The end of the race is usually his domain, but Roczen proved there he can hold Tomac off under the right circumstances. So this is far from over. Between these two have been battling for a good dozen years as pros. Roczen versus Tomac. Now, we saw a crash during the break with Jason Anderson, who had moved him to the number 4 spot. We now know what happened. Watch the green machine.
Let's see here. This is the first corner. Everything's good. No issues. Oh, he lays it down, and then he collects Sexton. Oh, what a bummer for these guys. They'd just gotten by the number 5 of Ryan Dungey. Had their sights set. This was going to shape up to be an excellent battle. These are the top 4 guys. That was been in the top 4 guys in the championship. So now Sexton's got work to do.
So this battle for the Moto win might be down to these two with the crash from Anderson and Sexton. They've recovered, but they've lost tons of time. Sexton is in 5th, 11 seconds off the lead, and Anderson 8, 21 seconds down. Can Roczen, the German rider, hold off the rider from Colorado, Eli Tomac? Event points, that's if we total both motos, the one from earlier today and right now, would be an overall win for Tomac already. But the championship points are paid out with each individual moto win. So there's every reason for Tomac to hang it out and try to pass Roczen and win this one.
Watching these guys right here, man. It's like a game of chess, Jason. These guys go back and forth, and it's just, you know, you just got to wonder, where is Eli planning to make this pass on Ken? Will, what you got?
Well, Ricky, Jason, you spoke about it earlier, how strong Eli Tomac is late in the moto, and I spoke to the team manager, Jeremy Coker, about this just earlier today. They said they weren't too worried about his starts. He was averaging 5th there on the first lap with his starts. They said that's absolutely fine. Top 5 is fine for us because we can rely so much on that late moto pace that he has that that's enough. So today we see a Moto 1 with a whole shot, guys, and now come out here second and be in the position that he's in right now. Hard to believe that he's not going to be able to put that heat on again here on Ken Roczen later on.
Yeah, the motocross fans, they call it beast mode. Last 10 minutes of the moto, usually Tomac finds another gear, as you'd say in the cycling parlance. It's almost like he upshifts, they can just pull it. And he does come from a cycling background. He trains 6,000 feet of elevation in Colorado. That's where that fitness comes from, and he's using it right now.
The level of fitness.
He's got it on the inside with Roczen already. Can he squeeze him? No, Roczen uses Larocco's leap 120 feet out to reclaim the lead.
Yeah, he was very generous to Ken Roczen right there. He could have closed the door, but at the same time, that was a smart move. Oh!
Same thing right there. Chase Sexton's trying to get Ryan Dungey. Dungey uses the leap to get him back as we're watching with the Beta Motorcycles drone cam, and then Sexton back around the outside. Good racing. This is for 4th. Sexton had made the pass, got tangled with Anderson, has come all the way back to reclaim the position.
Man, Chase Sexton has done a great job today coming from behind. He hasn't gotten the starts that he normally has been getting all season long. He played catch-up, got second in the first moto. Now he's right on the rear tire, playing catch-up again from that bobble that he had with Jason Anderson, getting caught up when Anderson went down, in a perfect position to be a podium.
He's working on it right now, and a quick strike on Barsha. Wow, that did not take long at all. So Sexton is up to 3rd. So impressive for Sexton to take the measure of Dungey and Barsha in about a quarter of a lap. That's the good news. The problem is the crash that was not his fault. He got tangled. Anderson had nowhere to go. Has left him about 9 seconds off of the leaders. You can see the Fly Racing battle box. That's in the lower right.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Chase Sexton to catch all the way up to those leaders of Roczen and Tomac. Jason, you know, those guys are incredible athletes. They're really, really fast, and they're turning in some good lap times right now. So he's got his work cut out for him. So at this point, if you're Chase Sexton, you go to the big picture. You're like, okay, I got to stack points for the championship.
Tomac to the inside. And I think he's made the move. So he made the move on Roczen at the bottom of the downhill. Roczen's got to respond here in these sand whoops, and he has. Big run for the 94. Too much of a run. Got sideways, and Tomac locks down the #1 spot.
Great pass by Eli Tomac. He was sitting there lurking. Boom, takes advantage of the opportunity that he has, and Kenny, I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny tries to mount up another charge right here and do a little counterattack.
But now that Tomac at clear racetrack, he's able to clear Larocco's leap, the biggest jump in this series, and he is looking to take off now. Halfway flags are out. Past, this is a 30-minute moto, so we're past the 15-minute mark.
That's right, 30 minutes plus 2 laps, and going back, these guys, the level of fitness that these riders have is just amazing. To be able to endure these high heart rates for this long, 2 times, incredible athletes.
15 more minutes in this race. You could save 15% or more on your insurance by calling Geico with a quick phone call. Yeah, these riders usually averaging around 180 or 190 heart rate, which if you go to your doctor and say, I got to do that for 35 minutes, they'll say you can't.
That's right.
The body can't do it.
And muscling around a 220-pound motorcycle as well. Not easy.
But that is Tomac's specialty, late race strength, and he's beginning to draw away, looking for a 2-moto sweep at Redbud. Tomac making a break for it. Can Roczen respond? And what about Sexton now that he has clear racetrack in third? Can he make it late dash even to go after Roczen? Every position is going to help as far as the championship points are concerned. Barsha still fourth ahead of Dungey. Craig, Anderson, Plessinger. Savacci had a crash. He is ninth. And Marchbanks is 10th.
I think the biggest thing here, Jason, is going to see if Ken is going to be able to stay strong the whole moto and not let his teammate Chase Sexton catch back up, because you go, if you're Chase Sexton, you're thinking you want to get second to save as many points as possible. Eli Tomac having an opportunity to maximize his points positions today, gaining a lot, maximum points.
So still much to play for, at least between Roczen and Sexton. I don't know if there's an answer for Tomac. This is his domain.
He is on rails today, certainly.
Got Barsha and Dungey about to hook it up in a battle for fourth. And then Craig sixth. And Anderson, after the crash, finds himself seventh, which is where he was in the first moto. So tough day for Anderson as far as points are concerned. He had the speed.
The 50th anniversary season of Pro Motocross is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on motorcycle insurance. Motosport.com. Make your next ride your best ride. And by Monster Energy. Unleash the beast.
This is Lucas Oil Pro Motocross live on NBC from Redbud. Round 5 of a 12-round championship, and this man, Eli Tomac, a 3-time champion already in this class. He is hitting his stride at midseason. He took his first race win of the year at our previous event, and he's looking to win both motos today here in Michigan.
And this is when the grind really starts to mount up in the season. We're 5 races in, and the guys that are going to be here at the end, you're really starting to feel, and I think it's going to be Eli Tomac and Chase Sexton. They just seem to find each other, and they're always running up front, 1-2. They've been the most consistent all season long thus far.
So if that 1-2 is going to continue, it happens right here. The 94 is Ken Roczen. He's in the number 2 position at the moment, but Chase Sexton, your series leader from third, has closed the gap. Here he comes.
Yeah, he's gaining that points, and make no mistake about it, Chase Sexton for sure probably wants to get second place, like I said, to minimize the points loss from Eli Tomac. I'm sure that Chase knows the capabilities of Eli Tomac and what he is able to do from a championship standpoint. He's got to keep the pressure on. He's got to stay consistent.
And he has done it thus far this year. Coming into this race, he had finished first or second in all but one moto. And that one moto off the podium was a fourth. He was able to come back strong in Moto 1 today for second, and he's close to that second spot again.
Well, and he can't panic. He can't panic. He's got to keep his composure right here, Will.
Will's with his mechanic, Brandon Zimmerman. Go ahead, Will.
That's right, Brandon's with me now, Jason. Brandon, we've seen Chase there put in for the last few laps, from what I saw, the fastest laps on track. Is he able to keep this pace up here to catch Roczen?
I believe absolutely he can. He's putting a nice charge in right now, and he just got to keep it going. He's right on the heels of Roczen right now, and I think he can for sure sustain this.
Thanks so much. Nobody knows better guys than his mechanic.
Well, nobody knows the track better than his mechanic. Brandon says he hails from about 45 minutes from here, and this is also a local track for Chase. Grew up racing, and he's using some of that knowledge right now on the inside. Roczen fighting him. They go bar to bar, the teammates, and Roczen holds him at bay.
Oh, these guys going for it. Roczen not giving his teammate Chase Sexton any room. Chase was on the outside. Kenny had the preferred line, so you can't blame Kenny for that move and holding strong.
And that's what Roczen said coming into this season, that he wanted to be relentless. He wanted to fight for it. You're watching the ETS Racing Fuels drone cam. And when he has been challenged, even if he doesn't come out on top, he makes you work for it. And that's what Sexton has to do right now.
Sexton all over his teammate Ken Roczen, just hounded him.
Sexton to the outside. Can he get the run into these sand whoops? It's a drag race across the rough terrain, and Sexton has it.
Got it. We talked about it on the keys to the race, Jason. Guys going inside, outside, going to be key to rail that outside, keep the momentum. You could see it. That was great camera work by our crew to give you guys at home that perspective. You could see the speed that Chase Sexton had compared to Ken Roczen because of going outside and carrying more momentum.
Sexton running 2:06 lap times. Last time around, our leader, Eli Tomac, was 2:08. Sexton is on a run right now. If he can keep this going, he might get Tomac in sight.
Well, he certainly could. It's going to be close. You just have to wonder, though, is Tomac just maintaining?
Exactly.
We're going to find out right here. But if you're Chase Sexton, don't override it. Bring this thing home to the finish line. Second is going to be okay. You can't win them all. I know you want to, but at the same time, you got to look big picture.
The only communication the riders have is the signal boards from their mechanics. So Tomac just went through that section. They might have gotten the word out that Sexton is closing the gap.
Yeah, but when Eli comes out of these corners, you can kind of peek to your left, look at your peripheral vision, and see where your competitor is. He'll be able to mark them. We call them mark them. We're getting a gauge to see where the guys are coming and where they're at. So he is completely aware of where Chase Sexton is.
Let's check in with Barsha and Dungey. They've been battling all day. There's Barsha on the left side, kind of under our scoring pylon there. And then the orange with a little bit of blue trim on the gear is Dungey. These two battled way back in 2015, the last time that Dungey won this title. Give you the motorsport.com whole shot replay. That's how Barsha had the early lead on the 51.
Yeah, here you go. There's the number 3 of Eli Tomac. Comes out firing, but boom, the 51 of Justin Barsha on that red Troy Lee Designs Red Bull gas machine. Look, it just fades right into Eli Tomac's line, crossing that white line for the whole shot award.
So that was a big story for Barsha, who had a struggle for most of the day, but it's launched him into a top 5 performance as of now. See if he can hold it. 4th at the moment. Dungey lurking in 5th. Dungey, 32 years old, out of Minnesota. We told this story earlier. 5 years out of racing. Had experimented with a lot of other things. Even owned a team briefly. Yeah. Also raising 2 young kids with his wife there in Minnesota. But he wanted to come out of retirement and check some boxes. And he's riding well right now.
Putting in a strong ride.
Checking back in now with our leader, Tomac. And he pulled it back out. Gained about a second on Sexton the last time around because Tomac just been in a 2:05. He went from a 2:08 lap to a 2:05. He found Sexton was coming. He stepped up the pace. Well, we go back to that big picture. Thinking you're going to run Eli Tomac down late in Moto 2. It's a tall order. So Sexton might just have to take a second this time.
Yeah, he's starting to pull away, pull a gap, and that's the thing. These guys at the level that they're at, Jason, I mean, they whether you win by 15 seconds or 10 seconds, it really doesn't matter, and they just kind of get that lead and they gauge it. I feel like that's where Eli Tomac is right now.
So the gap 8.3 between Tomac and Sexton. Roczen is 3rd. Barsha and Dungey 4th and 5th. Anderson has made a couple of moves. He is up to 6th now after a crash. He's ahead of Craig. Then it's Plessinger, Savacci, who had a crash of his own, 9th. March Banks is 10th on the Muck-Off FXR Club MX Yamaha. And then Marshall Welton getting a bump up to the Twisted T HEP Suzuki team. He is 11th. Shane McElrout 12th. Brandon Hartranft 13th. Benny Bloss on the BBMX KTM 14th. And Alex Martin at the teammate of Marchbanks in 15th. And that cross-country journey for Lucas Oil Pro Motocross has led us here, right in the Michigan and Indiana state line, not far from South Bend, Indiana, and a fantastic day of racing. Look at this. Ryan Dungey from 4th. He is catching Ken Roczen. It's actually Barsha ahead of him. Roczen, it has come completely unraveled here. Barsha actually got Roczen. Dungey has gotten Roczen as well. That'll push Roczen to 5th. Dungey fourth, and Barsha in third. What a salvage job from Barsha, by the way.
Yeah, great ride for Barsha, because Dungey was really pressuring him, and now he's pulled away. But great ride for these riders. Not sure what's happening with Kenny there. You just have to assume that something is wrong. Maybe he's not feeling well, or I don't know, but this is definitely, we know that Ken Roczen is a better rider than that.
So Justin Barsha, who was 13th in the first qualifying session today, is looking for third in this moto. Next rider to watch, the green 21. That's the Monster Energy Kawasaki of Jason Anderson, who had speed today. First moto got knocked down on the first turn, came from 38th to 7th. This moto, he was as high as 4th, crashed. He's in 6th.
This is a good battle right here. They're going to catch up to Ken Roczen for sure. Christian Craig's right there in tow as well. And then you got Ryan Dungey up front, too. You just wonder if the 21 can make all these passes and bring Christian Craig with him.
Let's send it back to Will.
Well, I was talking, guys, to Monster Energy Kawasaki earlier on today. We've had the conversation about Jason Anderson and the mistakes so far this season that have really cost him and held him back. And they said they're very aware of it. They said Jason was owning it himself, probably a little bit too much, actually. And they said, actually, what it came down to was comfort on the bike. So he let them help with that. He was in California with the team for 3 days this week. He's normally based in New Mexico, and he said they've made some good strides. Theo Lockwood there, the crew chief, said perhaps they're not there yet 100%, but they're definitely going in the right direction. We saw that mistake there earlier, guys, but hopefully Jason Anderson, this push forward that we're seeing, shows that he is making progress in that direction.
Well, he's being pushed by Christian Craig. They both now have cleared Roczen. It has really come undone for the 94, who was leading this race earlier. But Anderson cannot back off, because everything he does, Craig follows. And the way it has turned out with the math, because Roczen has lost so many points in this moto, it looks like Barsha is looking at 3rd overall for the day. He was 16th in qualifying. And looking for 3rd, Barsha is a never give up kind of guy. It doesn't always have to be pretty, but he will not cheat you for effort. It has paid off for him. Anderson's not done, though. He would like to go after Dungey, who is in 4th.
And he's just a little bit ahead. He's going to have 2.5 laps left. Next time they go by the checkered flag jump, it will be the finish line. It will be 2 laps to go. So a lot of time here left.
So the big question after 4 winners in the first 4 rounds, who would be the first rider to get 2 victories? It's looking like it will be Eli Tomac. It'd be back-to-back wins. And you can hear the crowd with the USA chants on the side of the track. Tomac, you watched any of our races in Monster Energy Supercross earlier this year where he won the Stadium Championship. It wasn't just a renaissance season for him. His relationship with the fans, you can tell he's enjoying racing more than ever. And he has been greeted by a chorus of cheers everywhere we go. And he's giving this Red Bud faithful what they want. 2 to go, as you said. Clock's expired. And Tomac looking to bring it home. This will be 3 straight moto wins for him and 2 straight overalls.
Well, and it's 2 laps to go. He's got a nice lead, 6-second lead. That is a pretty healthy lead. All he has to do is look ahead. He's going to be coming up on lap riders, so just try to predict what those riders are going to do, where they're going to go. Give yourself plenty of room.
It's a brief challenge when Sexton got to 2nd. He took the lead from 8 seconds to 6. Tomac immediately ramped the pace back up, got it back to 8. And you got to figure these final 2 laps, he's going to look to maintain it all the way to the end. The son of 2 great mountain bike racers. Of course, his dad always gets all the credit. John Tomac as one of the all-time greats of downhill mountain biking. But his mom, Kathy, has some titles in the trophy case as well. So this is a competitive family through and through. And with all he had already accomplished, I don't think it would have surprised people a year or 2 ago if Eli decided to call it a career. But he said he had more in the tank, and boy, has he shown it throughout the 2022 season.
Well, he sure has, especially since he's been aboard this Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha team. Looks like he's enjoying everything about it. Winning the Supercross Championship. Now he's in a great position here from possibly being he's a serious contender for this championship as well.
But he'll have to go through this man, Chase Sexton, who's not going to win today's race, but he will maintain the series points lead. Tomac's going to cut it about in half.
And Chase Sexton's had a great ride today. His starts have been a little lackluster for what he normally gets, and he's worked hard. He's gotten caught up in other people's misfortune, but he's rebounded and he's salvaged what could have been a lot worse. And that's what you have to do to be a champion.
I believe it was a 13-point lead for Sexton coming in. He will lose 6 points to Tomac, so that's what I'm saying. About half of the lead is gone. And this battle continues. Ryan Dungey at the top of the screen. And Anderson is all over him, trying to make that Kawasaki.
Ooh. It's going to be tough. He's got to be a little bit closer to Ryan. Oh, Ryan's going to miss Larocco's leap. No, he still goes for it. Oh. He makes a mistake in the corner, loses his rear end, and then still gets enough drive and enough speed to jump Larocco's leap. Great job. That was a nice save, because if he wasn't able to do that, I guarantee you the number 21 of Jason Anderson would be all over him.
How about the family man coming out of retirement? He has been the most aggressive over that jump. He's used it several times to repass riders, and there it didn't look like he had the speed, and he still pulled it. And now Anderson is closed back in, and Barsha is not that far ahead of them because they're pushing each other as the white flag is out. One to go.
Barsha about 2.5, 3 seconds ahead. Watch these different lines that Jason's going to try to get by Ryan. Outside here, does he hold it on? Oh!
It's going to be close. Anderson through these ruts, able to make the pass. It's been the entire moto, and he finally makes the move.
You can see Dungey's looking back. He needs to look forward. Don't worry about what's behind you. Race in front of you.
Great salvage
Craig
job.
is shortly behind.
Yep.
Dungey's got to keep the pressure on. This is the last lap. He's going to have enough to get this, finish 5th place. What a nice late race charge from Jason Anderson. Oh, he's getting caught up by this lapper right here.
Trying to see if the podium is in play for Anderson. If he could get Barsha, he would have it for sure. I don't think he'll have it if he doesn't get him when we do the math of the two motos. What'd you see there?
Oh, Anderson got high-sided. Got high-sided by this lapper right there on that Kawasaki. He was holding him up, lost his balance, almost jumped off the track on that tabletop.
And Dungey was almost able to get him back there. Then he got held up. Meanwhile, no such trouble for Eli Tomac, the 29-year-old out of Cortez, Colorado, looking for his 2nd straight race victory. And he did it the way he always does it. The final half of the race, his strength, his fitness unmatched, and he salutes the fans with a one-hander over the 120-foot Larocco's leap. It's going to be a 1-1 sweep for ET3. Lucas Oil finish line. Dominant run to win Red Bud for Eli Tomac. Battle is going to go all the way down to the wire between Dungey, Anderson, Barsha, and the rest. Sexton is across the line for 2nd. Barsha is clear in 3rd. There's Anderson, who salvages championship points after a pair of crashes today. He will be 4th in the moto. And Dungey, he wanted to get back into this and learn that race intensity. He had a 30-plus minute duel all race long.
What an incredible weekend by this guy right here, Eli Tomac. Dominant fashion, great starts, making key passes, and really just riding well within his limit.
What a ride for Eli Tomac. He is intimidating late in these races when he closes in at number 3. It's kind of the same thing that motorsports has become used to. You get that 3 in the rearview mirror, it's going to be hard to hold him off. And he rolled through the pack today to take the win at Red Bud. Our Lucas Oil race recap of this 2nd and final 450 moto of the day. Watch the 51 and Justin Barsha turns this inside line into a hole shot.
He does. Slips up the inside. He's going to take Eli Tomac's line away. And then come into this hard, sharp, left-handed 180 corner.
Now here's Ken Roxon on the 94, the red Honda, taking the lead from Barsha. Barsha bobbles, and that's all Roxon needed.
Yep. Early pass for the lead. And looked like, I thought Kenny was going to check out. But it wouldn't be long.
No, lurking back there was Eli Tomac. Then watch this. Jason Anderson a crash. Chase Sexton nowhere to go.
Yep. These two guys get caught up. That was a bummer for Jason Anderson, especially Sexton as well, because those guys, I feel it was going to be a 4-way battle for the lead.
Instead, a 2-way battle for the lead. It's Tomac all over Roxon, and here's the decisive move.
Well, Eli was sitting there waiting, and then boom, there's a pass right up the inside, and then Eli's going to pull out from there, and What's weird is the 94, he went, Ken Roxon, he went backwards from this point on. Not sure if there's an issue happening, but uncharacteristic for Ken Roxon. Hopefully everything's all right.
Yeah, first loses the lead. Now he's going to lose second to his teammate Sexton, your series leader. Roxon would eventually go all the way back to 7th.
And probably not the performance or finish that Chase Sexton wanted, but he had a great day today, coming from behind, getting caught up in other people's mess.
Yeah, he'll be ready to battle Tomac next week in Massachusetts. We'll have that on NBC as well next Saturday afternoon. But it's all about ET3. Eli Tomac sweeping the day at Redbud. Let's go to the podium.
Hey guys, it's tough to hear down here because you've got a lot of crowd noise down here. Eli, if you can hear me, congratulations to you. We were all wondering who was going to be the first rider to back up that overall win, take a second. Well, you did it off the back of your last win. You did it by winning both motos. So how significant is this win to you here today?
It's just a perfect day for us, and literally a perfect day, perfect crowd, perfect motocross track, and I just love Redbud. I mean, gosh, we had great starts, great riding. I loved everything about it. Thank you to the team, Monster Energy Star, Yamaha. We live for this stuff.
Thanks so much, Eli. Enjoy every second of it.
Thanks to those fans that say it's a perfect day as well. Here are your overall results of Redbud totaling the 2 motos. Tomac makes the math easy by winning them both, and Sexton makes the math easy by getting second both times. Justin Barsha, what a salvage job.
Great job by Justin Barsha for sure.
Puts it on the podium. Anderson salvages a 4th, and Roxon drifts back to 5th. Hey, the IndyCar Series is back. Joseph Newgarden looks to continue his phenomenal season. He's already banked $1 million this season, which of course went to charity. IndyCar from Mid-Ohio tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern on NBC and Peacock.
I'll be tuned in for sure.
Loving it. Let's send it back to Will.
Thank you. I can hear you this time. Thanks, guys. Congratulations to you, Chase. No, you were just soaking in the crowd there. You lost some points today on the championship, but you showed some great racing out there. Just a fantastic day for you. You had to work fairly hard to get it too. So what's your takeaway here leaving Redbud?
Yeah, the starts just weren't there. I think today was some of my best riding, especially in the sandier conditions. Last year's I've struggled here, especially in Southwick, and this year I feel like I got some good sand riding in me. So super pumped with my riding. Starts weren't great. Had a little tip over in that second moto, but Eli's riding awesome. It's going to be a tough, a tough fight, but man, this crowd is so awesome. Unbelievable. It's a awesome home race, and just thankful for these fans and my whole team and everybody here.
Thanks so much, Chase.
And for a rider who grew up as a kid racing at this track locally, said 8 to 10 times a year he'd come to this track. 30 different relatives on hand, countless old friends from the racetrack. Chase Sexton, a great day, and still maintains the series lead by 7 points over Tomac. Roxon now 30 points back after a rough second moto today. I don't know how Justin Barsha got on the podium today, but he made it happen. Let's send it back to the box with Will.
He definitely made it happen, Jason. That is for sure. Your day did not start as you would expect this to finish right now. 15th, I think you were in qualifying. Those starts, unbelievable. And even in the first moto there, Justin, you were riding with bent bars, your mechanic told me. So how much push did it take to get up here on the podium here at Redbud?
All I had. It was an amazing day. The team did a great job. Fine-tuned the suspension today, got really comfortable. My bars were beyond bent. They were so far down that first moto. I don't know even how I did. I thought the first moto ride was better. That was insane, but that was an awesome moto. No better place to get back on the podium here at Redbud. This place is amazing. The fans are insane. Woo! Redbud. Yeah, I can't thank my whole team enough. The whole Troy Designs, Red Bull, Gas Test Factory Racing, Method Wheels, everybody, Mom, Dad, wife Amber, Mechanic Ollie, everyone. Thanks, crew.
Thanks so much, Justin. Smiles from everybody down here, guys. It's hard not to, and they're just appreciating the fans the way they are.
Yeah, true grit from Justin Barsha, and we're headed to one of his best tracks, the sand of Southwick, Massachusetts, and we'll have it again at 1:30 p.m. right here on NBC next Saturday. Myself, Ricky Carmichael, and Will Christian to give you the action. 450 class in this series just keeps delivering.
Yeah, it doesn't disappoint, Jason. I got to tell you what, the battle between Tomac and Sexton for the championship, it's going to be those two guys. There's a big points gap now between second and third, so it's going to be interesting to see who can hold it together throughout the rest of the season, Tomac or Sexton.
Young Chase Sexton going for his first ever championship in this series. Tomac aiming for his 4th. It's the young talent against the experienced veteran. Check us out next week at Southwick. If you're looking for 250 class action from here, turn over to Mav TV for our final race of the day at Redbud. Horse racing is coming up next. Thanks for joining us. Ricky Carmichael and Will Christian. I'm Jason Wygant. Congrats to Eli Tomac.